Hi everyone, this is a Groovin' Chick, and today I'm going to show you how to make these cute primitive nativity sets. I saw these on Pinterest and I kind of adjusted them to a style that I liked. So I am helping Mother make these for a craft show that she's doing for the next couple of weekends. I'm doing them in several different colors. Here is ones I'm doing in blue and green, and here is burgundy and green, and here is another one that I have done in burgundy and blue. And they're real primitive. They don't have faces on them. They're just really simple, and I want to show you how I made them. Now, I have access to a bandsaw, so I took a 2x4 by 6 and cut it, and then split the 2x4 in half. But if you don't have access to a bandsaw and just have access to a handsaw, you can get a 2x2 and just cut it into the lengths you need. So whichever way you need to do it is fine. If you're using a 2x2, then you will need 6-inch blocks and 5 1/4 inch blocks. So you'll take your 2x2 and cut a 6-inch block and a 5 1/4 inch block. If you are doing a 2x4, then you will cut your 2x4 in 6-inch lengths and 5 1/4 inch lengths, and then split it. So either way, whichever way you want to do it. If you're doing like for craft shows, your most economical way is doing a 2x4 and cutting it into the lengths and then splitting it, which was the most economical way for us. So that's what we did. I'm also using these knobs, and they are 1.5 inch knobs. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. They are 9 for $3.99, and you will need 2 for each set. And then also these, I sanded these down the back of on a bandsaw. They were little bodies, like little weebles wobble but they don't fall down type things. And you don't have to sand them down on the back of a bandsaw, but we wanted these to fit kind of flat to the Mary and Joseph figurines. So that's what we did to make theirs just a little bit more flat against their Mary and Joseph. So that's what we did. And then what I did was I painted my balls for the heads. I used folk art in Georgia Peach, and then I just painted them, and I used a toothpick in the bottom of the head, in the little hole in the bottom of it, and I just painted it. Then I stuck in a piece of styrofoam, 2 coats of that, and let it dry. And the colors that I used on my blocks, I used 2 different shades of blue. This shade here is a craft paint, Anita's all-purpose acrylic, that is medium blue, and this shade is Delta Cream Coat Denim Blue, and all the green that you see is folk art Old Ivory. There's the Old Ivory. The burgundy that I used is folk art, and let's see if I see a color on that, Berry Wine, and like I said, Georgia Peach. So those are the colors that I used. And then I just used the normal shade of burlap, just regular color of burlap. So what I did was I just painted my blocks in any color you want, but those are the colors that I chose to use. But you can use whatever color scheme that you want. And Joseph is the 6-inch block. So what you want to do is, I use just a rough grit of sandpaper. And since these are primitive, you want to take your blocks and you want to sand down on the edges. And you want to sand down on each one of the edges. Like I said, Joseph is my 6-inch block, and I'm just roughly just sanding this down. I really like the burgundy and green together. roughly sand this down. It doesn't take but a minute. It's a really quick project. You could even get your kids to help you do the sanding and the painting. Also, I noticed at Hobby Lobby, they have pre-cut pieces of wood. So you don't have to use these exact dimensions if you can find some pre-cut wood at the Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And these are primitive, so they don't have to be exact. Just take off as much paint or as little paint as you want to. So there is the figurine that's going to be Joseph. And you don't want the same colors in your set, so I'm going to use the green and burgundy on this set that I'm going to do, because that's my favorite color combination. And the green is going to be my Mary figurine. Now you can sand on the face of the block if you want to. I personally just like to go on the edges. And like I said, you can sand as little or as much as you want to. It's a really fast project. It's easy, even the guys could do it. It's a little rough on the nails. I'm going to have to give myself a manicure after this. Okay, just a little bit more sanding. Okay, now you decide which side you want to be your front side. This has a flaw in it, so I'm going to make that my back side. And let's see. That one will be my back side since it has a flaw. So those will be my front sides. Now I take two of my painted heads. And let me adjust this camera down just a little bit so you can see. There. Now I'm just going to put a dab of glue on the top in the center. And I'm going to put one of my painted heads on my Joseph figurine. And then I'm going to do the same for the Mary. You could be saving money and getting more benefits with Humana's Medicare Advantage plans. For the little figurine that I'm going to use for the baby Jesus, which is the little, like I call them the little weeble things. I found those also at Michael's. I'm sure Hobby Lobby has those also. I just took a piece of burlap and I just kind of laid it in the corner, leaving just a little piece sticking up at the top. You can see that. And then I just took my scissors and kind of like cut it straight across on the bottom. So it kind of forms a triangle. And then I take just a piece of the burlap that I pulled out of another piece. And then I'm going to wrap this burlap around my little baby Jesus to where he's kind of like swaddled. And then I'm going to wrap this piece of burlap string around it, and then I'm going to tie this off, and that will hold that on. Now let me lay this down so I can tie it. I know it's not in your view, but I'm just tying this off. You don't have to really glue that or anything because that little piece of string is going to hold that burlap on there. Okay, and that's what that looks like. Okay, that's done. Now, for Mary's head drape, which you can see, I'm going to take a piece of burlap, and I want a piece about 7 or 8 inches long, and the way I normally get just a straight line is I go down here and I just pull a piece of burlap string out of that, Let me pull that. Now, you will see that gives you a straight line to cut by. If you can see that in there, that will give you a straight line to cut by. So now I can cut that. I'm Dr. Travis Stork, and my secret to feeling better is simple. Simply sailing. So, that's going to be Mary's head drape. Alright. Now, I've got Mary, and I'm going to drape this around her head and across her chest. And I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue on that to hold that on. And watch your hot glue because it's called hot glue for a reason. And let me take my paintbrush in and hold that on. And it will probably come through and hold that on. Yeah, that's held on. So now I can put my two figurines together. And I like the way that looks. So I'm going to put some hot glue down the side of Joseph. And then I'm going to put Mary and Joseph on the table together so that I can get them level. Matching the front and back and the bottom till they're nice and level. And that's my Mary and Joseph anchored together. Now I will take my baby Jesus, and he's wrapped. Now, since Mary's got burlap on her, I like to tilt my baby Jesus towards Joseph so that I can see the burlap and see Jesus just a little bit better. So I tilt Jesus towards Joseph. If you can see that, that's what I like to do. And I know you see all kinds of stuff here on my tables because I'm working on all different kinds of crafts right now. I'm working on a birthday party for Mother. Put a drop of glue on Joseph, and then I attach baby Jesus. I'm working on a birthday party for Mother right now. I'm working on all kinds of scarecrow wreaths for Mother right now for the craft show. And working on arrangements for Mother's birthday party. So I've got lots of things going on. I'm going to show you really cute mason jar craft in a day or two that I'm doing for her party. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull a couple of strings from another piece of burlap that I'm going to tie around this. So I'm just going to match the ends up, and then I'm going to tie this around Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus. Now you can tie both.